Imagine waking up to the screech of metal on asphalt, only to find your legal driveway sealed shut by a gleaming steel barrier. Courtesy of your nosy HOA overlords who think rules trump reality. What they didn't count on was the quiet guy next door, me, turning their power trip into a masterclass in sweet, silent revenge. In the sleepy suburb of Willow Creek, Oregon, where manicured lawns stretched like green carpets under the Pacific Northwest mist, life was supposed to be picture perfect. But beneath the facade of matching mailboxes and synchronized sprinkler systems, the air hummed with the low buzz of petty tyranny. I was Alex Rivera, the unassuming mechanic who'd scraped together every penny to buy my modest plot at the edge of the development. My workshop out back was my kingdom, a haven of grease and gears where I fixed vintage cars for folks who appreciated the rumble of a well-tuned engine. The key to it all? A dusty gravel path that snaked through the neighborhood, my recorded easement, etched into county records since the 80s. Long before these cookie-cutter houses popped up like weeds. It was my lifeline for deliveries, clients, and sanity. I kept to myself, waving politely at neighbors who eyed my oil-stained jeans with faint disapproval. But whispers started early. "That guy's turning our quiet street into a truck stop," they'd mutter at block parties, their voices laced with that faux concern that masks pure snobbery. I heard the rumors, how I was supposedly plotting to industrialize the block, how my unauthorized traffic was devaluing their precious properties. I bit my tongue, watching from my porch as the HOA board, led by the indomitable Evelyn Evie Hargrove, paraded their authority like badges of honor. Evie was the epitome of suburban supremacy, pearls around her neck, a perpetual smile that never reached her eyes, and a voice that dripped with honeyed condescension. "We're all about community harmony," she'd coo at meetings, while fining folks for grass blades an inch too tall. Deep down, I knew her type, power-starved, clinging to her board president title like a life raft, terrified that one loose thread could unravel her reign. The first crack appeared on a crisp fall morning when Evie knocked on my door, clipboard in hand, flanked by two bored lackeys with matching polo shirts. "Mr. Rivera," she said, her tone all saccharine sympathy. "We've had complaints about your vehicles. They're disrupting the aesthetic flow of our roads." I leaned against the doorframe, coffee mug steaming in my hand. "Aesthetic flow? Evie. That's my easement. County stamped. Older than half these houses. It's not your road to prettify." Her smile faltered for a split second, a microcrack in her armor. "Well, perhaps you could contribute to maintenance. Everyone pitches in for the greater good." I chuckled softly. "Greater good? Or your slush fund for more pointless signage?" She straightened, eyes narrowing behind her designer glasses. "Non-compliance isn't neighborly, Alex. We expect cooperation." As she turned away, her heels clicking sharply on my porch steps, I caught the whisper to her minions, "Mark him down for observation." That afternoon, a courtesy notice appeared in my mailbox, a pastel pink slip demanding I reroute my deliveries through a longer, mud-choked back trail. I filed it away in my growing binder, the one labeled evidence, and kept driving the path as always. But the stares intensified. Neighbors who'd once nodded hello now averted their eyes, crossing the street like I carried the plague. One evening, as I unloaded parts from my truck, a woman from down the block sidled up, her voice a conspiratorial hiss. "Evie says you're not really entitled to that road. Said it's a loophole we can close." I raised an eyebrow. Did she now? "Funny. The law says otherwise." She scurried off. But the seed was planted. I was the outsider, the rule breaker, the threat to their pristine bubble. tension simmered like a pot left on low, bubbling up in small, absurd ways that made me grit my teeth while stifling a laugh. First came the voluntary fees, envelopes stuffed under my wiper blades, billing me for road wear and tear at $50 a pop. As a frequent user, one read, "You owe the community for upkeep." I snapped a photo, added it to my binder, and tossed the paper in the recycling. Community? More like extortion racket, I muttered to myself. Evie escalated with passive-aggressive flair. At the next HOA meeting, which I attended uninvited, slipping into the back of the community center, she projected a slideshow of my truck's infractions, dust clouds, tire tracks, even a shot of my toolbox gleaming too brightly under streetlights. "This non-member's abuse is eroding our values," she declared, her voice quivering with manufactured outrage. The room murmured agreement, a few shooting me dirty looks. Abuse? That's rich coming from the queen of nitpicking, I thought. But stayed silent. Phone recording every word. Back home, the harassment cranked up. Someone planted no trespassing signs along the easement's edge, my easement, with HOA stickers gleaming mockingly. I removed them calmly, documenting each one. Then the cameras appeared, perched like vultures on poles overlooking the path. For safety, Evie claimed in a neighborhood newsletter. But I knew better, they were aimed right at my driveway. Red lights blinking like accusatory eyes. One night, under cover of darkness, I traced the wires back to a junction box on HOA property. Safety. Huh. More like spying, I whispered, snapping pics of the setup. Neighbors started confronting me outright. A burly guy named Ted blocked my truck one afternoon. Arms crossed. "Evie says you're freeloading. Pay up or find another way." I leaned out the window, voice even. "Ted, ever check the county records? This road's mine by right." "Evie's selling smoke," he huffed, stepping aside. But the doubt flickered in his eyes. Evie, sensing cracks, doubled down. She filed a bogus complaint with the city, alleging commercial encroachment. The inspector showed up, scratching his head. "Ma'am, the easement's clear as day. No violation here." Evie's response? A tight-lipped email blast, "We're pursuing all avenues for fairness." Fairness. My ass, it was a witch hunt. And I was the witch. The absurdity peaked when the whispers turned vicious, painting me as a shady operator plotting to turn the neighborhood into a junkyard. "He's got secret plans," Evie confided at a potluck, her voice low and dramatic. "Blueprints for expansion, it'll ruin us all." I overheard it from my fence line, where I'd accidentally been pruning bushes. Laughter bubbled up inside me. Bitter and sharp, blueprints? My only plans involved fixing a '67 Mustang. But the lies stuck, deliveries slowed as drivers heard the buzz, and clients hesitated, whispering about HOA drama. I felt the noose tightening, the isolation creeping in like fog off the Willamette River. Still, I held back, gathering ammo, emails, photos, recordings, even a fresh survey from a licensed pro confirming every inch of my easement. Evie, drunk on her unchecked power, pushed further. She organized a neighborhood watch patrol that coincidentally loitered near my path, notebooks out, jotting down my every move. "Just ensuring compliance," one volunteer said sheepishly when I approached. "Compliance with what? Imaginary laws?" I shot back mildly. He shuffled away. But Evie's grip was slipping. A few residents started questioning her at meetings. "Why target Alex so hard?" one asked. Evie's retort was classic, for the greater good. Dear. Trust the board. Her fear was palpable, losing control meant losing her throne. The breaking point came one foggy dawn. I woke to the whine of a welder outside. Peering through the blinds, I saw workers erecting a massive steel gate across the easement. Orange HOA tags fluttering like victory flags. Evie stood there. Phone up. Filming as if expecting a meltdown. My blood boiled. But I grabbed my camera instead. This is illegal obstruction, I called out. Voice steady. She smirked. It's for security. Non-members like you pose risks. Risks? The irony stung. Her security was blocking my legal access. Straining my business. Neighbors gathered, murmuring approval. Finally, one said. I filmed it all. Heart pounding. But mind clear, this was her fatal overreach. As the sun climbed, so did the showdown. I called my lawyer buddy, who'd been prepped for weeks, in the county sheriff's office. By noon, a small crowd had formed, Evie front and center, chin high, preaching to her choir. This gate protects our investments, she declared. Mr. Rivera's refusal to cooperate forced our hand. The hypocrisy dripped like syrup, her protection was pure power play. Then the sheriff arrived, trailed by a county surveyor and my attorney. Binder in tow. Ma'am. This easement predates your HOA by decades, the sheriff said, flipping through my docs. Evie's face paled. But we voted on it. For harmony. The crowd shifted uneasily. My lawyer stepped up, voice cutting like a blade. Votes don't trump deeds. Evie. And those cameras? Unauthorized surveillance on public easement land. Gasps rippled through. Ted, the burly neighbor, frowned. You said he had no rights. Evie stammered. We were advised. But the lies unraveled fast. The surveyor confirmed, gates blocking a legal right-of-way. Comes down now. Or fines stack up. Evie clutched her clipboard like a shield. This is outrageous. We're the authority here. The sheriff chuckled dryly. Not over state law. You're not. As workers fired up the torches to dismantle the gate, residents turned on her. You dragged us into this mess, one yelled. Misused our dues. Evie's empire crumbled, board members distanced themselves, whispering about audits. I watched her deflate. That smug mask cracking into panic. And felt a rush of not vengeance, but vindication. The gate groaned open. Sparks flying. And the path cleared like a dam bursting. In the aftermath, the HOA imploded like a house of cards in a stiff breeze. The county slapped them with hefty fines for obstruction and privacy violations, draining their coffers and sparking resignations. Evie was ousted in a fiery emergency meeting, her pleas for misunderstanding falling on deaf ears. You abused power for personal vendettas, a former ally spat. She slunk away. Clipboard abandoned. Her reign reduced to neighborhood lore, the cautionary tale of the control freak who overplayed her hand. My business boomed. Clients returning with apologies and extra orders. Neighbors thawed. Ted brought over beers one evening, admitting, we were fools to buy her BS. Potlucks replaced patrols. Kids biked the path freely. And the suburb breathed easier without her iron fist. I walked the easement daily. Gravel crunching underfoot. Reflecting on the absurdity, how one woman's ego nearly choked a community. Only to choke herself. Boundaries matter. Not just on maps, But in life, cross them at your peril. The peace felt earned. Hard-won. And deliciously ironic. But here's the twist that lingers: was Evie truly the villain? Or just a product of a system that breeds mini-dictators in every cul-de-sac? You tell me, right or wrong?